Christian McCaffrey didn't complain about a defender hitting him too hard. He reportedly questioned whether the building itself was hurting him. Because while fans were arguing about play calling, contracts, and bad luck, something far stranger was quietly bubbling inside the San Francisco 49ers organization. A concern so unusual that most people dismissed it instantly. A theory so uncomfortable that nobody wanted to say it out loud. What if the injuries weren't random? What if the problem wasn't conditioning? What if the danger was sitting right next to the team every single day? And here's why this matters to you. By the end of this video, you'll understand why one of the most respected players in the NFL allegedly reached out to a controversial doctor, why veteran players quietly agreed with him, and why the 49ers' never-ending injury curse suddenly has people asking questions nobody expected. Because this story doesn't start with social media. It starts with Christian McCaffrey doing what elite athletes always do, searching for an edge, searching for answers, and refusing to accept that his body was just breaking down. McCaffrey is known around the league as obsessive about his health. Recovery protocols, personalized training, nutrition plans that cost more than some players' salaries. This is not a man who shrugs off injuries as bad luck. So when reports surfaced that he was one of the few players who raised concerns about the electrical substation near the 49ers training facility, people should have listened more closely. At the time, the concern barely made noise. A strange footnote. Something easy to laugh off. But fast forward to now, and suddenly that footnote looks a lot more like a warning sign. In the past few weeks, a viral conspiracy theory has taken over NFL corners of the internet. The claim is simple, and that's what makes it so unsettling. The electrical substation located near the 49ers training facility and Levi's stadium may be contributing to the team's constant wave of injuries. Now pause for a second. This isn't about ghosts or curses or mystical nonsense. This theory revolves around something very real, very measurable, and very controversial. Electromagnetic fields. EMF. On Friday, NFL analyst Chase Sr. dropped a bomb that took this story from fringe internet chatter to something much harder to ignore. According to Sr., Christian McCaffrey and his personal trainer reportedly reached out to Dr. Jack Kruse to discuss the potential dangers of EMF exposure on the human body. That detail matters. Because you don't contact someone like Dr. Kruse unless you're genuinely worried. And you definitely don't do it if you think everything is fine. Sr. didn't stop there. He claimed that McCaffrey wasn't alone. Other San Francisco players had also raised complaints about the location of the team's training facility being so close to an electrical substation. Quiet complaints. Private conversations. The kind that never make press conferences. And then came the name that made everyone's ears perk up. Logan Ryan. Ryan isn't some anonymous bench player. He's a two-time Super Bowl winning cornerback. A veteran. A guy who's seen multiple locker rooms and understands how organizations operate. According to Sr., Ryan believes in the theory. Think about that for a moment. A Super Bowl champion allegedly saying, "Yeah, something feels off here." Ryan reportedly pointed to a detail that should make fans uncomfortable. Christian McCaffrey and George Kittle spend millions of dollars on their bodies. Hyperbaric chambers. Recovery specialists. Cutting-edge therapies. Every possible advantage money can buy. And yet, despite all of that, they still deal with recurring injuries. That's the part that stops this from sounding silly. Because elite athletes usually don't accept unexplained decline. They look for patterns. And patterns are exactly what some people think they're seeing in San Francisco. Let's talk about EMF for a moment, without the hysteria. Reports suggest excessive EMF exposure may negatively affect the human body. Allegedly degrading collagen. Weakening tendons, causing soft tissue damage. The kinds of injuries that just so happen to plague football players. Important clarification here. This theory has not been proven by scientists. There is no official study saying Levi's stadium is injuring players. That matters. But here's what also matters. Lack of proof does not mean lack of concern, especially when careers and hundreds of millions of dollars are on the line. Now look at the 2025 season. Fred Warner. Nick Bosa, George Kittle, Brock Purdy, all key stars, all dealing with injuries, different positions, different roles, same team, same environment. Fans will say football is violent. Injuries happen, and they're right. But here's the curiosity gap. Why does it feel like San Francisco is always fighting this battle more than others? Why does their Super Bowl window constantly feel fragile? This is where the story turns from strange to fascinating. Because if players truly believe something external is contributing to injuries, that creates tension behind closed doors. Tension between athletes and organization. Between trust and doubt. Imagine being McCaffrey. You do everything right. You invest everything. And still your body betrays you. At some point, you stop asking, what did I do wrong? And start asking, what am I missing? That's how theories are born. Not from ignorance. From frustration. The 49ers have built one of the most talented rosters in football. They're supposed to dominate. Instead, their seasons often feel like survival tests. Every week becomes a question of who's healthy enough to play. And here's the part nobody wants to say out loud. Even if the EMF theory is completely wrong, the belief alone can change behavior. If players feel unsafe, if they feel unheard, if they feel dismissed, that impacts trust. Trust impacts performance. Performance impacts championships. Organizations hate stories like this because there's no easy PR fix. You can't just say that's fake and move on when your own players are reportedly uneasy. The irony is brutal. The 49ers are one of the most forward-thinking franchises in the NFL. Analytics, sports science, recovery technology. And yet here they are, potentially being questioned over something as basic as where they train. This story is uncomfortable because it lives in the gray area. It's not provably true. It's not easily debunked. And it involves some of the smartest, most disciplined athletes in the world asking questions most fans never consider. So where does that leave San Francisco? Publicly, nothing changes. Practices continue. Games go on. But privately, you can bet this conversation isn't disappearing. Not when players are risking their bodies. Not when championships are on the line. And here's the wildest part. 10 years from now, this could be remembered as a ridiculous footnote, or as the moment people realize player health involves more than tape and ice baths. Because football has always evolved after controversy. Concussions were once ignored. Turf injuries were once dismissed. Load management was once mocked. Until it wasn't. So ask yourself this. If you were Christian McCaffrey, would you ignore a possibility just because it sounds strange? Or would you chase every answer you could find? That question is what makes this story impossible to shrug off. And now we want to hear from you. Do you think this is just another internet conspiracy, or is there something the 49ers should seriously investigate? Drop your take in the comments, because this debate isn't going away anytime soon.